Well, thanks for checking out part 4 of Behind the Ropes, and this clip wraps up what we've done so far, which was catching up with Briggsy at a cafe on the Gold Coast, going down to Penrith and filming all behind the scenes of a WBC World Light Heavyweight title eliminator, catching up with Jeff Fenech, Costa Zoo, even the opponent just hours before the big fight, and following Briggsy's journey. And it was awesome having the camera and capturing all the behind the scenes stuff, including the weigh-in, so something for the ladies. This is what goes on at the big fights.
Jesus Chuchu Ruiz is about to jump onto the scales. Of course, he is taking on Paul Briggs tomorrow, and this is for the WBC Light Heavyweight World Title Eliminator. Ruiz. 79 kilos, ready to go tomorrow. 79 kilos for Jesus Chuchu Ruiz, and his opponent, of course, will be the Hurricane Paul Briggs. And Paul Briggs weighing in at 79.5 kilos, 79.5.
Yeah, so Briggsy having a little bit of problem there with the weight, but as history shows, everything worked out, because a few years later he was in the ring fighting Thomas Adamak, and you might recognise this voice. We're about to catch up with him soon. This is the Colonel Bob Sheridan doing his thing.
By the way, folks, I hope wherever you're watching around the world, I know all my good friends up in Penrith are enjoying this fight. Tony Terradon and all the boys at Valentino's watching the fight tonight. Adamak comes forward, digging body shot by Briggs. Adamak's ribs could have been broken with that one. He's got blood coming from his nose. His eyes are closing up. He may have a broken nose. Briggs nails him with a left hook. He can't take too many serious headshots.
Yeah, and you can check that fight out on YouTube, an absolute classic, Briggsy versus Adamak, and Bob Sheridan doing his thing there. He's got a great voice. You hear it all the time, even on the DVD for Mike Tyson. Check out this for the intro.
Challenger, Chief Second. Any question from the champion or Chief Second? Let's get it on, come on.
All right, and with the words of Mills Lane, we're ready. I don't know about you folks, but here at the Hilton Hotel, there is electricity in the crowd. I've got goosebumps. On the line, the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the world. Mike Tyson has trained his whole life for this. His whole life has been for this night.
Yeah, so there he is, Colonel Bob Sheridan. It was awesome to catch up with him after the weigh-in for a quick chat.
This a million times, but highlights in your career as far as calling fights. What's some of the great moments in sport that you've been so lucky to be there, right there at ringside?
Yeah, and I'll tell you one thing. When you say lucky, you're really right too, Tugsy, because I have been lucky, and to this day, after doing 740 world title fights and probably broadcasting between radio and television over a 5-decade career, really spanning 5 decades, probably 10,000 fights. It's been really exciting, and there's been a lot of highlights. I mean, certainly the first championship fight I ever did back in '68, I'll never forget that, when Jimmy Ellis won the WBA Heavyweight Championship during the Ali time off over Jerry Quarry. That stands out in my mind personally. Of course, the great fights between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, the fight in Manila, the fight in Zaire, the Rumble in the Jungle was at the time was probably the biggest fight that I'd done for venue. The other highlights of the career would include such notable things in terms of broadcasting in boxing as, for instance, that fight in Zaire was the largest television audience in the history of the medium at that time. It went to 1 billion people live, which is pretty exciting to think that, geez, I'm right in the middle of all of this. And then there's been other things like broadcasting at a live venue in Azteca Stadium in Mexico City. Greg Haugen and Julio Cesar Chavez, there were 130,000 people there. I did the first live telecast out of Africa. I did the first live telecast out of China. I did the first heavyweight championship fight in the Philippines. So things like that would stand out to me. That wouldn't mean much to your viewers here, but they're exciting things in my career.
Yeah, so he's a very cool guy, and you actually have to play that back to listen again to some of those highlights, because it's incredible what he's done. It reminded me of something that I thought I'd throw in when I met Roy Jones Jr. at the airport in LA, and even he talked about Briggsy and, of course, Danny Green.
I'm watching a friend fight next weekend, Paul Briggs. I might get interested, you never can tell. So, I mean, we might have some big things in progress.
Really?
Yeah, my dad is on the way to Australia this Thursday to train Anthony Mundine, as a matter of fact.
Right.
Yeah, that was a connection I made, and I like Anthony. I think Anthony's a good guy. I like Jeff Finnick over there. Jeff's a good guy. I like Green. What is it, Tony Green? Denny Green. Yeah, I like Denny Green. I like all the fighters Jeff got, and I really enjoy Australia, you know. So it's good to meet you too, and I hope Paul Briggs is victorious come next week.
Yeah, so there he is, Roy Jones Jr., one of the greatest of all time, that's for sure. In his prime, he is just an absolute superstar, and something tells me he's going to remember Danny Green's name a lot easier now. But it was back to Penrith. This was behind the ropes, the idea I had about capturing everything that goes on behind the scenes, from the dressing rooms, getting ready, and of course everything leading up to the big fight, the dream on the line, and we were almost ready. Yeah, so here we go, Penrith Leagues Club 2003, Paul Briggs, and we'll leave it up to the Colonel to make it sound good.
This is Jesus Ruiz, 18-3, 16 knockouts. He hails from Mexico. The book on him, as you well know, Brantley, is he can start fast. His first 10 professional fights, he won them all by knockout, all inside of 3 rounds, and 7 in the first round. So we expect to see this guy start very fast. He's a quick boxer with considerable power. Folks that are watching across Australia are well familiar with Paul Briggs, but this telecast is going worldwide as Briggs is not as well known overseas. So let me tell you folks that are watching overseas a little bit about him. He's a world-class fighter, and he has a win over Jorge Castro. He's an orthodox fighter who will switch. He's got power in both hands. He's got exceptional speed. In fact, that may be the difference between him and the power of Ruiz, because they both have extraordinary power. Would be Briggs' hand speed. He can fight, he can box.
Alright, so here we go, behind the ropes. Thanks for checking it out. Hope you enjoy the ending. Rock on, Briggsy, and hopefully we'll do a lot more.
Alright, here we go. This is round number 1, scheduled for 12. At stake, you know what's at stake. It's the WBC light heavyweight eliminator. The winner of this fight is going to get a shot at the world title. Paul Briggs, a native of Australia. Formerly great career and world champ Muay Thai boxing, kickboxing. And Jesus Ruiz of Mexico, who fought just about everybody in the division. This is round number 1. Again, it's scheduled for 12. Paul sort of feeling him out in the early going down. Both of these guys have considerable power, and both of these guys can be explosive, especially early in fights.
Get him up top.
Nice left hook that time. And again, that's the second official one. It's the third time he said something about those laws, but it's the second time he's doing the official one. He catches Briggs, and Briggs goes down.
4, 5,
to take the
6,
you know, he was moving
7,
backwards and off balance thing. Ruiz surprised him, and this will infuriate Briggs. Look at Briggs now. He wants to get right after this guy. This is round 3, and we've had a big surprise in the second round. This round's fairly even, too. I mean, Ruiz is trying to keep pressure on Paul. Paul is, you have the idea, as you look inside, he's totally confident, and you know he wants a real good ripping shot to the body that time with the left hand.
Winding up. Good jab there by Paul Briggs. Getting inside, that's what he's going to try and do. He's going to move in behind the jab and then work away.
Round. See that combination there. Rock Ruiz. And that's the difference, the hand speed. There's the bell leading the fourth round. That was an excellent round of boxing for Paul Briggs.
It was.
He loads up the right hand, but it's not the right hand. Nice shot by Briggs. He's on the big track. Looping right hand wasn't taking pressure. Here's Paul Briggs.
Right.
Now, they've done a nice job in his corner throw with Richard Walton there, Brian Berry, and you mentioned Ron Waterhouse. Look at this. It's a hand speed, huh?
Judge Brent Brocali scores the bout 117 to 113, and all in favour of Paul Briggs.